what's happening?
Munson and the Geeza. Munson and the Geeza. Reporting from the scene. Munson and the Geeza. News in every ride.
What's happening?
Is Carrie Underwood about to walk in? That you all the time.
Oh, that was something wrong. Something went wrong.
Hendrix, though, the spirit of Hendrix was in the room for a moment there.
The spirit of Hendrix was in the room, although Pete Townsend, quite controversially, just the other day, you know, Pete Townsend of
the Who,
of Who indeed.
Yes.
The other day caused a bit of controversy. I haven't been drinking.
You're thinking of Sean Connery, who caused controversy.
Controversy. He caused some controversy by saying that Jimi Hendrix wasn't bad, but he was, you know, he didn't quite come up to the standards of Pete Townsend. Yeah, and Pete Townsend was saying Keith Richards is the second best rhythm guitarist in the world.
Seriously?
And, yeah. Who do you think is the best?
Nile Rodgers. Well, without a doubt.
Yeah, but anyway, you know who Pete Townsend thinks is the best rhythm guitarist in the world? Yeah, himself, obviously.
No,
himself. Or is it they self? It's 2025. Oh no, we
Yes,
don't have to say after today. We don't have to say that all that they self.
Daddy Trump has freed you. How do you feel?
We don't have to say they self or any of that anymore, do we?
Newsflash, you didn't anyway. But do you feel better?
Oh, come on, those
well
lefties.
Well done on the fancy dress. Well done on the fancy dress. I didn't realize I would have dressed up as well myself if I'd known. So how do you feel?
I don't feel any different, Carl, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I dare say, like a lot of other people, but depends what you project onto it, right?
It does depend. There's a lot of people today are celebrating, and everything's changed. The world's a better place, and there's other people who are screeching at the moon.
Absolutely. Very upset. Yeah.
Both things are happening at once, and it's like so many things in life. You can, you can. That was me again. You can. You're in control of these things. You know, you're in control of these things.
Yes,
how you let them affect you is the ball is in your court.
You might say that's one of the key distinctions of having a human life is how you perceive things, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like a lot of things. I mean, I suppose. Yeah, I know a lot of people are complaining.
I'm with Ricardo. Have you been doing this all day then for your students as well?
I've been doing it for a couple of days. The green screen thing. I've got a green screen, and
it's working well.
Yeah, they're good fun. They're good fun. Yeah, you can have a bit of fun with them. And
are they going to be complaints? Is that an actual geometrically, culturally correct Stars and Stripes or not?
I got to be honest with you, it's not perfect.
I didn't think so. It seems graphic rather than real, authentic.
Yeah, I had to trim a little bit off the edge. I had to trim
I'm
a bit.
a bit offended.
Yeah. There's no way I'm ever going to get any of this right. I mean, I'm probably offending quite a lot of people just by existing right now.
It could be quite a serious offence now.
Nobody gets it. Nobody understands what the irony of it at all. Because I apply the same. What I'm doing now is, to me, it's not a lot different to supporting football clubs.
Yeah, right.
It's just I find the whole thing so bizarre. It's like, I support Benfica. Yes. What does that even mean? Yes. What do you mean you support them? They're riding on your shoulders. What does it mean to support? I don't understand what it means. I like to watch football. I like to watch it or play it.
Mate, if you will go around asking people what they mean, you're asking for trouble.
But you know what I mean? I've got no comprehension of what it means. I suppose at least in politics, you might have some feeling that things might affect you. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, there have been some good things that have happened today, I have to say.
In relation to Trump's second presidency or second term.
Yeah, I should be a bit more clear when I say
just general. I mean, I've had a lovely.
Oh yeah, a few. Yeah, I've had quite a good day as well. I've been very, very busy today, but I would like to say that I think the pardoning of the Jan 6 people was an extremely good thing, because I think I've said to you before, Carl, that as far as I'm concerned, there was no insurrection. I think describing it as an insurrection is absolutely insanity and wrong and ridiculous. But I also come from the point of view that I know that the whole thing was modeled on an event that I saw in Hong Kong about 18 months earlier during the Umbrella Revolution. So I know the whole thing was a setup. I know because it happened in exactly the same way. It happened in exactly the same way that it did in Hong Kong.
Yes.
The police just mysteriously let them in, and I think that anyone who went into the building and caused damage or any criminal damage obviously should be dealt with by the courts. But it wasn't an insurrection, unless you believe that the presidency of the US can be won in a game of capture the flag. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. They shouldn't be in prison. They shouldn't be in prison. And I think that was a really good thing he did today. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. Yep. Here we have, if you want to play this game with us tonight, you, Humberto, Ricardo, and the crypto strategist. You are now the president of Geeza land, and you're sitting in the Oval. Should we have an Oval Office, or should we have a different shape?
How about everybody has whatever shape they want?
Oh, you are still deep down underneath it all a terrible, terrible hippie, right? Lefty hippie, I suspect. Right. Have whatever shape office you want, and we would like to hear what your first executive order will be. What will be yours, Tony?
My first executive order.
You want to finish that, and then I'll just read a few comments. Yeah, it's been a busy day. You're still having tea, aren't you? Right, Ricardo Moray. I agree with Ricardo. I feel more strongly about your backdrop than I do the American political system, I think, in this moment anyway. I want my bended shelves back. And that was a feature. That was becoming a strong feature of Munson and the Geezer. Progress,
all part of the plan. All part of the plan. When I first started the channel, it was like number 19. Get myself some bendy shelves.
Yeah, and then they break on air,
and like hundreds of books,
and maybe
that I've never read.
Yes, and you're screaming out under a pile of books and shelves, and there's nothing any of us can do.
Except I've got piles.
On top of me. Yeah. It'd be like Tommy Cooper, the live streaming equivalent of Tommy Cooper, as you fight your way out on stage from underneath a pile of books and black plastic shelves. Yeah, make those black plastic shelves great again. So I don't know, Ricardo, can we set up a petition in Portugal to have that happen? Is that a thing here? Maybe it is. Go Trump, go. How are we reading that? He wants him to go, or he wants
get out. Get off.
Get out. Off with you.
I want Trump to go. He's hedging his bets. Like his lefty friends will go, what are you saying? He'll go, yeah, go, get out.
Yes,
and his righty friends will be going, yeah, come on, Trump.
Here we go. He's
I like it.
Yeah, he's my
I like it.
Right, get a T-shirt made with that on it. Now, what about Donald and Melania pumping and dumping before the inauguration? Have you ever view on that?
They did it with those. Do you remember that whole ridiculous thing about the non-fungible? What were they? NFTs. The NFTs. Yes. Do you remember that?
Well, and didn't he have like wobblehead figures? I mean, he's you see,
that's what people buy him. I said at the time, people were like, no one's going to fall for this, and I'm telling you, people will buy them. People will buy this stuff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Crypto strategist. This on a serious note. Recognize Taiwan as a nation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't even realize it wasn't a nation. How ignorant am I? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, my first executive order would be no. One other thing I agree with Trump about today is the drill, baby, drill. I love the way he speaks, man. It's just unbelievable. I know people don't like it, but I just think it's the closest thing we've got to change. Listen.
Change
everybody.
Hold on a minute.
Hey! Right. It's the political system in our lifetimes been working. 100% for 100 years. 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 100% for 1
at all. I think it's been getting. I've got to take this hat off. I've got to take the hat off.
Why is it hurting?
Yeah, it's hurting me. It's hurting me. Oh my god!
It's not just hurting. It's not just hurting you. I think
everybody can see I'm bald. My agent told me.
We thought you had a massive mop of hair underneath.
Yeah, my agent told me never to let anyone see.
Oh dear, you're fired then. Maybe you're fired.
Never let anyone to see. No, not really. What it is, I've got a big LED light there.
It doesn't help.
And that's just gonna it's just gonna cause a bit of
in the nightclub. It's not such a problem, is it? It looks like you've got plenty of hair in the nightclub, unless the UV's on and then all the dandruff is showing. That's not good.
I tell you honestly, I'm quite happy about being bald, but because it's been cold recently, I haven't shaved my head, and what I like is to be I like to be
shiny,
clean bald. So I almost, even though I don't really like looking this grizzly, but this is just to do with being cold. I can't be bothered doing.
Well, the pilots have been complaining as well, who fly over central Portugal,
about my head.
They're not seeing these shiny.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'll keep my hat on. It's blinded them.
Using it
20,000 feet in the air, and they've been crashing because of my shiny head. I can't believe it.
No, I thought they were using it for navigation coming into the airport. To your left, you'll see the shining dome of the Geeza as we make into Umberto Delgado. Right. Oh, Mrs. M's watching. She's out and about, and she'd have missed you wearing your MAGA hat. Will you put it on especially for her one more time? Is she right? So when thank you, Tony. I really appreciate that. If you could send a signed photo as well. Do you have any of those?
Are you kidding me? Of course.
Of course.
I mean, I might have sold out. Well, I do have some electronic versions that I'm selling. I've reduced the price. They were $25.99, but today, and they are a value of $35.99. But today you can have them for $15.99.
And don't they go? Doesn't the sale end tonight at midnight?
The sale is you get in now.
Yeah,
get in now. There's a limited number of these digital signed photos of me.
You're the man. Yeah. Yes, he did it with NFT.
I'm not the man. I'm a man. I'm just a man.
Oh, don't be so modest. To me, you are the man. Okay, at least for the next hour.
Me and what was his name? Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. I'm just. Do you know he paid a guy? Well, he didn't pay him. It was a slave, but he had a slave stand behind.
So he definitely. He bought him, right?
He had a slave stand behind him and whisper in his ear every 5 minutes, "You're just a man." Do you know that? You're just a man.
I didn't know that.
Keep him grounded. Yeah, keep him
grounded. Could we get jobs doing that? Do you think? I would. I mean, that's called a personal growth consultant now, isn't it? A mindfulness coach, basically.
Yeah.
You get paid to do that now.
You're
just a man. That's really good. Thank you for that business idea. Right, Bitcoin maxis who supported Trump are regretting it somewhat because we want to divorce ourselves from the crypto. It's an us and them developing in the crypto.
Yeah, crypto bros are not happy.
Right, but the crypto hoes are all over it by the sound of it. Right,
crypto hoes. Did you just Bitcoin a phrase?
I did. I think about what do I do? Do I have to make an EFT of that as well? Oh, it's such a fast-moving environment. Carlos, good evening to you. Oi, good evening to you as well. So you don't have to apologize. Nobody has to apologize for having an opinion here. That's the whole point. It's not black and white. It's red, white, and blue here. Sorry, but I like Trump. My friends who work the government are so happy Trump is back. Well, they're all going to get fired soon, aren't they? They got very high posts with the government offices. I mean, it's not a good time to be an American government worker, is it? I wouldn't have thought. Unless you've got a plan already and you've outsourced what you do in a very efficient way from a beach somewhere, I suspect. Right, Ricardo, democracy is manageable on a small island like Taiwan and to Oliveira dos Hospital, but it won't work on a billion-plus country like China. Interesting. And where was the MAGA hat made?
Yeah, I don't even have to look. I'm sure it was probably made in China.
Shall we?
It's probably not even a real. You know, I believe a lot of people kind of just made mock-ups. I don't imagine it's a real one. I think I bought it from Amazon.
What do you mean a real one? What is there is a real one?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say where it was made. That makes me even more suspicious.
It does, doesn't it? But that keeps the cost down as well, though, doesn't it? I'm guessing it's all part of the production.
It came in via the Panama Canal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, excellent.
And
it's got a massive tariff on it now. Like,
there's a massive tariff. Yeah.
3 days ago, it's like a third of the price now with a massive tariff on it.
But this is one of the this would be my executive order. For example, the first one I would do, because this is something long before Trump. I've often thought about this. I remember even when I was young, I thought about it. It was when I first realized I was living in Australia and I saw a newspaper article saying that 90% of the Perth foreshore was owned by Saudi royalty.
Right.
You know. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I thought, you know what I would do? I would stop people from. This is another very controversial thing I've said on the channel before. I support Just Stop Oil.
Yes.
And I have to be consistent because I've always, long before Just Stop Oil, I've always said we should just stop oil. But what I mean by that in particular is just stopping buying oil from the Middle East.
All right, not drill baby drill in your own country.
Yeah, drill baby drill in your own country, because it doesn't make sense to me. It's basically saying, oh, we don't want to drill oil in our country because we want to be environmentally blah, blah, blah bollocks, but we'll go drill it in someone else's country where it doesn't matter. Or same with coal. Oh, we'll stop coal mining. Oh, but we'll buy stuff from China where they, you know what I mean? So I'm not buying it. They're lying to us. It's absolute rubbish.
There's so much going on now. Who's lying to us?
You know who? The government, man.
The government.
Yeah.
The one world government.
Okay. The government.
Yeah,
no, but you know what I mean? In England, why don't we dig coal? Why don't we have coal-fired power stations anymore?
Because it's a filthy, nasty habit.
That's right. But they do it but we buy stuff.
Yes,
right? And we manufacture stuff.
Do it.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. So at no benefit to the global environment.
Yes.
Right. Zero benefit to the global. In fact, I would argue worse, because some countries have got lower environmental standards than we do. So possibly at a larger price to the global environment, we impoverish ourselves.
Hold on a minute. Which we are you using? You weed then? Are you weeing English, weeing Australian, weeing Portuguese for a minute?
Okay, I'm weeing the Western world.
Okay, yeah, all right. Are we just
all right? Yeah. All right. Look, because I think generally speaking, we're talking about like when I talk about, say, the Western world, I think the Western world has got standards of for example, environmental practices that are probably higher than most of the rest of the world, right?
Which mean you have to buy your stuff from other people who don't have those standards. Yeah,
exactly. So, for example, we have high standards for workers. So I'm talking right. So from now on, when I say we, I mean the Western world, right?
Yeah.
We have higher standards for workers. So what do? We buy our clothing from Bangladesh, from Bangladeshis, right? Who work for nothing.
You had me at not making sense. I don't expect it to make sense. Maybe that's the difference between you and I in a quite a broad way.
Yeah, but you asked the executive order. Yeah. But I'm not doing it. I'm not ready yet to throw my hands up in the air and say that we can't do anything, because I feel like something's happening. Maybe I'm getting sucked in, but I feel like something.
No. Hold on a minute. Do not imagine the vortex I am in that you might be sucked into. I'm not despondent with my place, my view, my point of view is not a nihilistic one. It is very positive, very dynamic, very open, very upbeat. It's not like, what's the point? Because none of this makes sense.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel? I'm going to get rid of this. Nothing against any Americans, by the way.
Oh God, here we go.
I just don't want to sit.
All right.
And it's not in any way anything like not wanting to be associated or anything else. I just like something that makes it a little bit more. Are you
taking the American flag off on purpose at this moment?
No, I just thought I'd just show everyone the view out of my window of the Australia. I can't say it's nighttime in it. Am I kidding?
View out of your window. Wow, I love these summer evenings, don't you?
That could be the view if I stood on the roof, maybe on a step ladder.
And had a time machine. And a really good camera.
And a time machine, yeah. That is, it doesn't actually, there's not that much. There is snow.
Ask me the question that's going to upset Americans then.
All right. What I want to ask you is, do you have any feelings about the Trump inauguration speech? And I know you watched it.
I didn't watch it. I don't know. All I've got is secondhand bits and pieces. So I haven't got a view on it.
Crypto, I get your point, but do you want to know something? You'll be surprised that I made a video today about the Trump inauguration. I know that's going to come as a shock to everyone, but in that video, I actually said I know that Trump's getting into office is going to probably cost me money personally, because I know that he's going to put tariffs on Europe.
Bless you. You're a big man. I think your mindfulness slave is working on you, whispering in your ear, like.
But I have to be consistent that I believe that I want a government, like I want the Portuguese government to put Portuguese people first. I want the UK government to put UK people first.
Yes.
I whether he does it or not, or his intentions are good or not, is a whole other question. But the premise, I think, stands. You know, I agree with
to
it.
lose money. You
Why
stand.
No, I'm not happy to lose money, but what I'm saying is I agree with it, because this is what my hope is. I hope that
this goes back to the beginning. So when you said this is the beginning of change, right?
I hope that in 4 years, like I hope he's allowed to get on with what he wants to do, and I hope that in 4 years we have an answer whether this is a way that might work. Whether this is a way that might work. If it works, then we can use that as a model for everywhere else. If it doesn't work, you know, then we can have the cackling idiot back, can't we? She'll still be around. I'm sure.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Kamala Harris. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Is this for president, or just is this a personal safety comment? I'm wondering. Psychological safety, maybe.
Maybe he's telling you to run.
Yeah, run for
president.
I can't. I'm not allowed to.
Or run away.
Yeah, it's one or the other, isn't it? I'm guessing.
This is a bit like who was the last one who gave? Was it Troy who did the last one that could be taken either way?
No, it wasn't. I think this is quite a Portuguese thing, possibly, if I may stereotype at this early stage. Yeah, because Ricardo, I think, was saying something that could be taken two ways. All right, carry on. I'll cover for you while you eat another cracker. However, you might choke on the cracker because you need a MAGA mankini. When you said crypto strategist was right, I was surprised because I thought you were referring to this comment.
This is what I'm talking about, obviously. The MAGA mankini.
You can mint the image as an NFT, a nifty. We could call it the nifty mankini, couldn't we? I'd buy it. I mean, it depends on the price, obviously.
You're quite good at those. Well,
right.
Well,
what? I'd help them.
They were $39.99, but I've reduced the price just for this night only.
Yeah,
until midnight, $15.99, and they've got a value. They've got a value of $49.99. Don't you love the way the Americans say that in their advertising? This book has a value of $70.
Yeah.
You know, they just say that, and it's like, who valued it though? You valued it, right?
I just did. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, says Ricardo, if the world invested all the money they spend in weapons, that's not going to happen, Ricardo. Not for a while.
John Lennon said something like this, I think.
That's Ricardo Lennon here. We would be using nuclear fusion.
If the world invested all the money they spend in weapons instead on energy tech.
I'm a dreamer,
but we'll be using nuclear fusion by 2026.
That's probably why we're not using nuclear fusion, because it doesn't rhyme with anything, right?
That is a problem.
That is a problem.
That's how the world works.
Yeah. So bear that in mind, all you government strategists. If you want to bring something into being, it has to rhyme well, such that a social commenter can make a song about it, thereby enhancing the cause in the mind of the human subconscious. But weapons and oil make the world go. I think you're right there, Ricardo. Until we think of a better idea, and that this is embodied centrally rather than as a fringe idea, which I fear it is at the moment.
Do you remember last week we were talking about Andrew Tate? It just reminded me, Andrew Tate.
We did for a moment, didn't we?
He had a he come up with a mnemonic. Andrew Tate.
Yes.
For UK.
Oh, and hold on, there's something else to clear up here.
I'll go on now.
Because something came up about consistency. I don't remember saying anything about being consistent. You seem to say it was some sort of virtue that we're upholding here. Who said that? I've got to be consistent when you're talking about just stop oil. So
no. What I'm talking about is being intellectually consistent, because a problem is when I've seen the a lot of my friends are very anti Just Stop Oil, you know, the organization.
Yeah.
You
like
know,
me, I am.
but I have to admit that I've been anti-oil for a long time, right? You know, generally speaking.
I've got a bit of previous as well. I was in the transition movement, yeah.
And then on top of that, I do have a bit of time for young people who are trying to like protest a cause, you know. So I try not to let my own. If I can, I try not to let my own prejudices influence what I'm saying, because
really? I Herculean effort, I'm sure.
It is. It's difficult, but and sometimes it can also, you know, it can also annoy people as well, which can be also funny.
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
What is it? 80-20?
Which way the wind's blowing. No, but the thing about the Just Stop Oil, like the newspapers really overblow it. Now, obviously, if you're behind them in a traffic jam,
they do that. To be fair, that is their job. That is their job.
Like what I would like to know. Think about because you know, you get what's his name, what's his chops, the concrete guy on YouTube every morning.
Mike
Graham.
Mike Graham of Talk Radio, the home of common sense.
The home of common sense.
Yes, woke.
Well, you know, he's like, oh, these young idiots, you know, grinding the UK to a halt. And I'm like, what are you talking? Grinding the UK to a halt? Grinding one street to a halt for 10 minutes.
One too many. One too many.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? It's not that. Okay, for individuals who may be in the queue, like, and you've seen them get out of the car. She go, I'm taking my kid to school. You're ruining my life. Don't you know that I've got to get my kid to school in 10 minutes? Oh my God, I'm going to kill you with my 2-ton metal tank. It's insanity.
Really that was really good.
Really.
You sounded like a middle-class mum pretty well there.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that big a deal, man. They're going to slow you down for 5 minutes and they get off the road and you keep going. And it's just
then what's the point? What's the point? Then what's the point?
No. I agree. I think that they should go do these protests at petrol stations or oil companies. I agree. But what I'm saying is it's being blown up. And that's what I always want to ask is, why am I thinking about this? Why do they want me to think about this?
Good question.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
This thing that's not affecting me, not even affecting anyone I know, that as far as I could tell, isn't even happening on a daily basis. It happens every couple of weeks. It happens for a few minutes and affects a handful of people. Okay.
Yeah.
Why am I being forced to think about this like it's a massive issue that I have to really talk about? That's what I always think, Carl. You know what I mean? You got to watch them. You got to watch them. Them again. You got to watch them. Watch them.
Creating the news agenda.
Because they're like going. They're like, look at the cracker. Look at the cracker. Meanwhile, they're stealing your guitar picks. Every guitarist knows what I'm talking about.
What guitar pick? I'm looking at the cracker, Tony.
Look at the cracker. Don't look at the guitar pick. We're taking the guitar pick. That's what they do. That's what they do.
So clever.
Yeah. Wow. That's what they do.
Thank you for that. Good question from Jorge Coelho here. Very good, strong showing of Portuguese men tonight. Thank you very much, Portuguese men. I discovered your Tommy Robinson earlier on today, who Tony hasn't heard of, but you can expect a video about it quite soon, I suspect. He's got a similar patchy past, a violent and somewhat disturbing past, and a National Front member here in Portugal I had not heard of until somebody sent me a link, which I investigated today. And he is going to be imprisoned, I believe, for a couple of years, maybe more, for tweeting. In a pattern that's becoming familiar in a way that Tony will be angry about as soon as he finds out more about it, I suspect. So it's a Portuguese video on that. But what has Art done to Just Stop Oil? I like the look of that. It looks like Just Stool, which is a movement I could get behind, so to speak. Just Stool. But we get the point there. What has Art done? Tony, how would you defend that? And these unwashed, these soap-dodging, woke reprobates throwing paint over old masters in
well, I think again, this is another example of bollocks.
I thought that was going to be a lot more erudite. Please wait until I finish my tea before you do that.
Right. And that's it. I have spoken. No. Everyone does know, don't they? I mean, have any of you?
I doubt it.
No, this is the problem. Half of these people with opinions have never set foot in a bloody art gallery. For one, I mean, no. There's two things to say about it. Number one.
Yes.
It's not like does everyone know that when you go to an art gallery, especially the great works, they're covered in plastic. You know what I mean? You could throw ketchup and whatever at them all day long, and it just wipes off with a bit of tissue. You know that, don't you? They're not really damaging the art.
That's what they should charge people for.
Number two,
throw ketchup at an old master.
All the people who were like, "Oh, I can't believe they were in the art gallery throwing paint on that, on that," and I'm like, "Yeah, on that what? On that what? Who painted it? Who painted it? What's that painting called? What gallery is it in?"
Ooh. Okay.
Get back to finger painting or whatever it is.
Oh, Senor Coelho, I hope you're going to come back on that.
No. I'm not saying that directly to Senor Coelho. I know that.
You're not. Okay.
He's a man of the arts.
He looks like he might be, right? I mean, I think it's a beautiful illustration. I don't know if that's a self-portrait.
Actually, Senor Coelho, is that a self-portrait? Because I will forever
imagine
you. Wow.
So yes, luckily you weren't aiming that at Senor Coelho because that could have gone bad.
Well, I did say 90%. No, didn't I? 90%.
He's in the 10%. Yeah. Also, what do you think of that, George Coelho? If you don't mind us asking there, or I'll own it. Mind me asking. Did your avatar artist here self-interested? Yes, but not just for me. It's a good question. It is a good question. I would prefer them to stop doing it. I don't think it works very well. One of the things I don't understand about Trump, says Pedro Silva, is that he has surrounded himself with people that he seemed to hate in 2017. The tech bros, Soros, ex-employee, big pharma investors, intelligence. WTF? Well,
your enemies close.
Yes. Yeah, and he will see some benefit of his own design in doing so, unless he's been pressured to do so, which is hard to imagine with his particular shtick, but we shall see.
And he also he learned from his first term, didn't he? You got to clear the swamp.
Okay.
Clear the swamp.
All right. And bring them into your cabinet. Take them out of the swamp and put them in your cabinet.
Take them out of the swamp. Yeah.
I thought for a moment that was Davos that you were joining us from, with the mountains in the background. Did you not get an invitation, or did you stay at home to cover the inauguration instead?
I could have gone, but I refused to on I was going to say ecological grounds. That's not what I mean at all.
Philosophical.
I don't know what I meant. Philosophical
moral grounds. Yeah. Okay.
Moral grounds. Yeah, I could have gone on a private jet or whatever.
Who invited you? Can you say or not?
I can't say.
All right,
I can't say.
No, I thought I'd try not get it out of you. You might let it slip with all your friends in high places.
But Rachel from accounts signed off on the
Very good. If you ever wondered why an Australian man with English connections lives in the middle of Portugal, there's a little bit of a clue to his international man of mystery persona right there.
Mystery, yeah.
And the Davos signalling behind him as well, not the bending shelves.
Can I just say one thing just while it's front of mind? We went off on a tangent.
You usually do. You usually do.
Me.
Yes.
Me. We went off on a tangent. But I was saying, we were talking about, the poetry, and I just thought it was very funny because do you know what Andrew Tate has named his? You'll see the connection. You'll see the connection. You know what he's named his political party? It's real, but it sounds like a joke.
Multiple choice.
It sounds like a joke. But it's not a joke. He's named his political party Bruv.
I knew that.
But listen, but the best part is it stands for Britain restoring underlying values. Like, can you imagine? You're so desperate to have it called Bruv.
Like, he made it work, didn't he?
He made it work, and it just sounds terrible.
Yeah. Well,
Britain
as I've said before,
underlying values
get the politicians they deserve, don't they? Can you help with these hieroglyphics now? I've not been ignoring you or your comments. I just don't understand them. Off topic Portugal stuff. Today I got an update on my
off topic crypto. Didn't you get the memo about staying on topic?
Yeah, we're a bit disappointed, actually, quite frankly, crypto. But we'll make an exception this week. My water was cut off last week. That was an interesting experience. It's back on now, so don't worry.
It comes in three. So that's the internet, the water. What other bills haven't you paid, Munson?
Well, I thought I was up to date on all of them, but it would appear not with the water. And a missing bill meant that a man comes round, and I'm thinking that because in the UK it takes about 53 years to get cut off, doesn't it? They have to go through a human rights court and various bailiffs. And
what did the EU ever do for us or something?
Exactly. Whereas the man from Alcobaster just came round with his pliers and just knocked once early. I wasn't in, came again. That was it. Boom, done, gone. And a hilarious scenario ensued, all done and dusted, with some great dark Portuguese humor in the mix as well. So it was a very interesting little adventure. But enough about me. Let's get back to Crypto Strategist and his hieroglyphics here. Up 9% for supply.
Up 9%.
So that's the Portuguese water rates have gone up then. Up 19.6 for waste disposal.
What's waste disposal?
Effluent, perhaps.
Well, 19.6% for waste disposal for me would remain zero.
Yeah. Linked to the CPI, my ass. Oh, I see. I thought that was another technical term. He's actually saying that's linked to inflation. Right?
Peters increments.
Well, that's very interesting. Crypto strategy.
Aussie dollars. Plural. Aussie dollar in plural. Aussie dollars.
No. He's actually saying it's not connected. It should be water services should be connected to inflation, not sudden spikes of 9 and 19.6%. I think that's what Crypto Strategists say, and that's of interest to me on Good Morning Portugal. I'll see what I can find out about that. I was surprised by the last electricity bill I got, which was 240.
But what is this 19.6% for waste disposal?
There are two sides to water, aren't there? At least, and I don't mean it in a quantum sort of way. I mean in terms of water supply, there's the incoming clean water, and I'm guessing that's the 9%. That's gone up by 9%. And 19.6 to take it away, unless they've been metering Crypto Strategist and Household this year, and they've judged that the amount of effluent going out warrants a 19.6% waste disposal fee.
Have you changed your diet recently, Crypto?
Could be, couldn't it? That could be it. So more or less fiber. What are you recommending, Tony? Vegan diet is
well. You got to do a cost benefit analysis, obviously. Yeah. So I mean, I'd never thought about considering the
On that note,
we always look at the outgoings, don't we? But I never thought about them quite that way.
Indeed, and I want to stay with that theme. But just to complete on this, water tariff not related to Trump, not yet anyway. Yes, it is related to the cupidity. Well, is that a typo, or is that a sarcastic reference to the stupidity. Or the cuteness of Portuguese water companies, which you all know, Crypto Strategists. I doubt very much they are Portuguese water companies, right? It's like the electricity here. It's not Portuguese, is it? It's French or Chinese or something along. It's not going to be Portuguese. I would have thought by this stage, 2025.
Water's from the French.
Is it?
I always remember there was a French brand of bottled water that was, La Vie, C'est La Vie, but it read like Levy water.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know what I mean?
And eau de toilette.
Yeah, can I have some Levy water? Yeah, I want to smell like the toilet, the odor of the toilet.
It's bizarre, isn't it? But I guess they were thinking, well, if you just say anything in French, people will fall for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And Troy, don't worry, I'm miles away.
Rendezvous.
Exactly.
Rendezvous.
Biftech. Discotheque, bibliothèque.
Canal Plus.
Meet you at the bibliothèque. If Europe wants to avoid tariffs, start producing there you go. Start innovating, start producing instead of regulating.
That's right, Pedro. Yay! Let's start. What are we doing? cars. Let's crank up the factories and start turning that and the Zundat bikes. That's what we got to do. We got to stop buying all this.
Zundat. Were they Portuguese?
Were they?
No,
I think they were. Yeah, they were. Were they not?
David Martins presents, has the Ukraine war ended yet? Day one and already a broken promise. I will give that straight to the Portuguese. So, Tony, why has he not stopped the Ukraine war as he said he would?
There's a good reason.
Okay, you're not going to tell us what it is, though.
No.
Okay, thank you. Right, but it's funny to watch the media in Iceland and politicians all scrambling to welcome Trump to the presidency. Oh, so, hi, Baddy. Great to see you here. Somebody from my community. We're so outnumbered by the
There's a face.
fans.
There's a face in the crowd.
Right, Trump. So tongue in cheek. Oh, so the Icelanders are taking the mickey a bit, appearing to have. Oh, you tongue in cheek, Baddy. Explain this. Are the mainstream media of Iceland generally supportive, or are they taking the pee, tongue in cheek? They appear to have Stockholm syndrome all of a sudden. So actually, it sounds like they are captured from the Stockholm syndrome reference. I'm thinking there. There are 3 parts to the water bill: supply, sanitation, and refuse collection, the bins. And also, I think TV license is a part of the Portuguese water license, I heard somewhere, which sounds a bit bonkers, but I think that's true. Good evening, all from the Squire.
I'm gonna be honest. I never really look at it. It's like, €25 or something. And
oh, here we go. Oh, cupidity is greed. I didn't know
really?
that. That's
Really?
fantastic. That's 2 fantastic words beginning with C for me this week that I now understand. Cupidity and copacetic as well came up. Right. Hold on a minute, because
greed for money and possessions.
Troy de Silva, 100% tariff on Spain. Now, this is the tax.
Cupid and cupidity descend from the Latin cupere, which means to desire. So that's the link.
Hence Cupid as well. Yes, desirousness of the little cherub. Right. Okay. Yes, I meant to take you to task on this, because I was looking at some of the comments on your. Oh, look, there's going to be 100% tax on non-EU purchases of Portuguese property here. Manchester Evening News.
Reporting the news. Reporting the news.
Did it go well, though? Between you and me, did it get a nice little clickbaity sort of spike or not?
It did all right.
Okay, well done. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I reported the news, and I did make a point in the video of saying,
how could it be reporting the news? There was no news in it. Oh, apart from the Manchester Evening News writing.
No. I believe the line that you're looking for in that article said something like, "It is also being discussed in Greece and Portugal."
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And
that was the line. That was the line. That's it.
I beg your pardon. I feel really bad now. I take it all back. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because clearly there was a lot of rigorous research involved. And I was a bit too quick to judge you there, wasn't I? And the Manchester Evening News. Right. Then
the Manchester Evening News. You know what I'm saying?
The esteemed publication. That is. Great paper of record in that.
No one understands me. Come on.
Then holding their breath with regards to Trump's fancy to Greenland. Yeah, well, of course, Iceland, Greenland, looking into his negotiation techniques when cooperating with him is the lesser of 2 evils, but at your own risk. Interesting.
Beyond this, can I ask you something? Because I was speaking about this last week, because I remember when this, I'm kind of being sort of serious now.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about the Greenland thing, as saying kind of how ridiculous it was. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I Googled it, and there's actually quite a complicated history with the USA and Greenland. I think they actually did control Greenland at one point. And my understanding is they still have bases in the north of Greenland. So it's not as kind of left field as everyone thinks.
There's a great movie to be made, isn't there, about this the families, the American families that live in Greenland and these bases, who haven't been spoken to for 60 years. And they've made a fantastic life there, and they're really pissed now that the Trump's brought them onto the world agenda and stage when they're having a great life there.
Well, one thing I do. It might sound funny to say I empathize with Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. But occasionally he does something that I know you often help me with, which is I will say something random without giving it any context.
Yeah.
And you'll say, "Oh, you're talking about this," and help me bring it back to context.
Yes.
Because sometimes my mind is going a little bit quicker than my mouth, or is it the other way around? I don't know.
You're saying that's what he does as well.
Well, I heard him the other week. He said something about, he was talking about the fires in LA, and he was talking about he said this whole thing was caused by a fish that has no use, and they just carried on, and people latched right onto that. What the hell is that? But then it turns out that apparently one of the reservoirs that could have saved the fires, no one was allowed to draw water from the reservoir because of a small fish that the environmentalists have managed to mean that nobody could take water from this reservoir. And this particular fish has no sort of commercial value of any kind. It's as he said, a fish that has no
the only measure,
a fish that has no utility.
Yes,
which is how he put it. But the thing is, I mean, what I'm saying to you, Carl, is put it to one side whether he's right or wrong.
Yeah.
The thing was, because he'd said this thing without any context, it just sounded completely bizarre.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's not unusual, is it? That's really not unusual.
He hadn't given the
speeches.
context.
I mean, there are probably people who comb the speeches for those sorts of things, right? Like bleach,
of course there are.
eating cats and dogs, bleach. God knows.
Everything is content. Everything is content.
Absolutely, and very little much content, very little context. Trump said, now by way of an explainer here, this is such great teamwork tonight. I'm loving this, and you've got some amazing people in your community, Tony. Trump said he could end the Ukraine war in one day only one day. He didn't, however, specify which day that would be. So there you go, an explanation. This is like fact checking, isn't it? Not really. Zundap bought. I think that, the Germans have bought that from Famel. I think Famel being the Portuguese side. Zundap sounding very German, to be fair, right? And TV license is part of the electricity bill. That makes more sense than what I said. Portugal also produced the UMM. That's what you're talking about, isn't it? Bring those back. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, bring them back. Bring them back. Let's go. Let's make Portugal great.
Let's make the Portuguese motoring industry great.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work terribly well, does it? That Squire, GMP crypto coins coming soon. That's a great idea. Maybe it could be a collaborative thing, because we are working on the Turning Portuguese song, which could be the marketing backbone of a joint GMP and Portuguese crypto meme coin, couldn't it? I think you've got a great idea there, Squire. Okay. Yeah. Greenland is under Danish rule, as Iceland was until 1944, and the Faroe Islands are currently also. Denmark was alarmed at Trump's threat to sell it to him or else. And Heaven is here with the usual random comments, which I'm not going to read all of those because I can't make sense of a few of them tonight. Heaven, who says they will read comments. We do. I like to read the comments. I'm not sure about Tony. Greenland is a strategic island on a military level. Yeah, and I'm sure that's what the interest.
Putaro cars. Putaro. I've got to Google.
Have you been looking that up? Have you got a picture? Have you got a picture for us to have a look at? Right. Well, we are marked as safe. I mean, that's the thing here, is that a lot of, what's been happening really with Trump coming back into office, people have used him, have they not, for their own purposes? There are triumphant people. There are terribly hurt people who have projected their fears and, worst nightmares.
Similar sort of car to a UMM, I suppose.
What is the Porto? Have you gone off on a little bit of a car research mission?
I put a picture of one in Messenger for you if you want.
Right. Trump. Oh, thank you. All right. You are better, or other are worse. Interesting. I don't know what that means exactly, Heaven, but keep them coming.
Greenland is a strategic island on the military level. Like, I believe the agreement, what they say is that there's an agreement between world powers not to drill or do any sort of mining or exploration in the Arctic, but that's about to expire.
Yeah.
And
and
the idea is as soon as that expires, everyone's just going to run up there and try and stake their claim. So
watch out the Azores, watch out UK, because the UK is quite a nice little strategic island as well, isn't it? Maybe that's what's up his sleeve as well. David, I get the point. You're leaning against an open door here, with promises being broken. I don't have very high hopes for all the promises that were made. I think they were a sales process, were they not, for him to take office? Denmark should offer to sell.
Well, to be fair, he's kept quite a lot of his promises already. Day one, all these executive orders he signed. What was amazing, I made that video today and I said, the one thing I was hoping to hear was that he would release the J6, insurrectionists. And as soon as I'd made the video and posted it, guess what came up on the news? He's released 1,500 1,500 people he's pardoned.
Right.
J6s. So, you
Yeah.
know, it is.
Would you say they are the equivalent of the opposite of political prisoners? They are political prison releases. I mean, have they been released for any other reason than to make a political point?
I don't know. I don't like this because it means that I have to try and read Trump's mind.
Well, do you not mind doing that?
Look, no. I think they were I think they were political prisoners.
I'm just asking that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were. I don't. For me, I find it.
Oh, I see. So if you
I find it
them,
beyond comprehension that anyone can believe that January 6th was an insurrection. It's absurd.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that people don't. Because in examining what you were saying earlier on, you seemed to be saying, or as I heard it, was that it was made to look like an insurrection based on a tried and trusted formula.
Well, I have to say I didn't fall for it.
Okay, yeah,
even when it was happening.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they tried very hard. I think that there's a certain group of people who believe that they are anti-establishment, who in fact will just listen to and accept and run with anything the establishment says, whether it's sticking their arms out to have absolute muck shoved into it by who 5 minutes ago the whole world didn't trust, which was Big Pharma.
Yeah.
They rage against the machine, govern me harder, daddy. You know what I mean? It's just nonsense. They are mentally ill, these people.
That's quite a broad sweep you suddenly went.
I mean it. They're mentally ill. I'm tired of speaking to them. I'm tired of pulling punches. I'm tired of being apologetic.
Who are we talking about now?
Lefties, blue-haired, screechy lefties.
All of them. This is the caricature. This is your psychological pinata, isn't it?
No, but they're real. They actually vote for
these. They're not
people.
real now, are they? I mean, if I was a doctor,
of course they're real. You could go to the USA now and you can beat them.
Yeah, that's exactly. They're not here now. No one's doing that to you now, are they? It's like if you and I were in a psychiatric hospital and I was the doctor and you would say, they're here now, Carl, Dr. Munson. I said, Tony, they're not here now, to be honest, are they? To be fair. And I know this upsets you and I know the idea of them upsets you, but they're not here right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the room with me.
Do you want to have a quick look?
No, I don't. I know they're not.
Because that would be terrifying, wouldn't it? Christ, can you imagine? If now...
like if I turn off the backdrop and there's like 5 blue-haired screaming lunatics behind me telling me why I'm a bad guy.
You know what?
I'm a white man or some
I would pay for that. I'm not too bothered about your manky.
I'd probably pay for it. I'd get like a million views tomorrow morning on a YouTube video like that.
It's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth it. Troy thinks you need some Trump gold sneakers for your next 10K run. How is that going, by the way?
It's going well. Yeah, it's going well.
Good.
Yeah, nice. I've got to be ready. It's March.
9th, I think away, yeah, isn't it? In an athlete's mind,
time goes quickly when you go. You know, funny enough.
Do you
funny enough, Munson? Do you remember we were? I can't remember. You brought it up about a week before about being in the moment and all this sort of stuff, and then I'd mentioned something. Hold
on a minute. I am a bit offended by that. Being in the moment and all that stuff. I mean, that's like your dad saying something, isn't it? Oh, for God's sake! All right, but for the purposes of conversation, carry on. Come on.
And then I sent you a message saying I was feeling a bit, because I'm into all that. I'm into all that rhubarb as well, you know.
All that stuff, yeah. All
that stuff. Yeah. But what I was talking about is at the moment, I feel like I've got a lot of things that are around the corner, and it's not letting me. Like I'm actually trying to. It's almost a physical thing. I'm almost trying to physically go enjoy what I've got and what I'm doing and where I am and hang out with my dogs and love what my kids are doing and focus on my studies and stuff. Because I've got all these things that are kind of lined up to about to happen, and it's bothering me because I find myself projecting because I'm thinking, I can't wait till my office is there. I can't wait till.
What do you get out of that?
What do you mean?
What's the payoff? there will be something that is beneficial to you
no, but I know there isn't really a payoff. I know it from life experience. You know, I'm 52 years old, but I know that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter wherever you get to. There's always more.
Yeah,
so,
right. But where you are right now, the dynamic that you've set up, you will have a payoff, an emotional and psychological payoff. I don't mean the payoff of like when I've won the race, I'll feel like a great guy with a gold medal.
But Carl, listen to me.
I often do.
Yeah, like there's a payoff happening today, right?
Yeah, is there?
Isn't there?
I don't know.
Every day there's a payoff, right? There's a payoff, yeah. Like I'm in a good situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If I'm bored, if I'm bored, I can play guitar. I've got a roof over my head. I've got lovely dogs. I've got my kids. You know what I mean? I've got
that's a payoff of that's the result.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you keep looking to the future, you'll never get to your payoff, Carl, because it never comes.
It's you that's doing that. You just explained how you're doing that, right?
Yeah, but what I said to you is I'm trying not to do it. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm physically trying to stop myself because just at the moment. Okay?
All right, so I might have misunderstood.
Normally you might have one or two things happening, but I've got quite a lot of things that are about to fall into place, and I'm finding it difficult to not project forward.
Do you want any help with that?
Oh God, no.
Okay, all right, let's move on then. Nowadays, God no, that was a very firm pushback there, if you don't mind me saying. With all my years of psychotherapy, that I know that's a very firm pushback. Nowadays, this is brilliant. Probably comment of the evening, apart from our own, of course, Senor Coelho. Nowadays, even the band rages for the machine. That's superb, isn't it?
Terrible. What about people? There's so many of them. What about people like Neil Young? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Neil Young. Yeah, he was like so anti the man, you know what I mean? And now he's like, oh God, it makes me.
Can't come to my. You couldn't go to my concert without a vaccine certificate. Oh, I said it.
Oh, just awful.
Yeah,
awful.
Bunch of bluehead Marxists, they them's coming after the Geeza on image.
Oh my
God! Liber Vita has made an entry based on that image and that idea.
Liber Vita.
That sounds like a pretty awesome name, doesn't it? Yeah, and a very good name for a new healthy biscuit as well, I would say.
Liber Vita, like Rye Vita.
Yeah, like, you know, a picture,
Liberty Vita.
Somebody running along a beach, eating
salad. It could be a name for it.
Liber Vita.
Liber Vita.
The ultimate seedy bread, Liber Vita.
Yeah,
it needs a bit of work, but you get the gist.
Liber Vita, I'm getting good vibes from you. I don't know why. There's something about Liber Vita.
Liber Vita. So it's a great name. Okay. Love you guys, but gotta watch Benfica. We were told about this, weren't we? We're obviously not integrated into Portuguese culture because we wouldn't have our show on at this time that clashes with football games.
Go Barcelona. Is that right?
I'm sure that's right. So have a great evening.
Go Barcelona, right?
Come back again next week. I think Tony is sneaking a little aguardente off camera. There's no truth in that room.
That's water with toothpaste in it.
Firewater brandy.
Firewater. Well, yeah.
No, he doesn't drink. Benfica, says T Duck. Who is
Benfica.
I love what you guys. I love you guys too. But we just got home from the bar, and I got to do something. I forgot what bar. I'll remember later.
Well, it's been a long time since I've gotten home from a bar. But when I got home from a bar, I used to normally have to go and have a wee.
Right. Okay. Which used to take 3 hours, probably, didn't it?
3.
Neil, all Canadian. He's the best. And
Canada, the 51st state of the USA.
Oh, don't say that. You'll get Troy upset, I think, probably saying that. Benfica, damn it.
Hey, are there any Canadians who would be happy in the car, Thunder?
I don't know, or behind a dumpster, or in just straight in the trouser. Who knows? Straight in the trouser, mate.
Are there any Canadians, honestly speaking, are there any Canadians who would like to be the 51st state of the USA? There must be some.
In this world, there's something for everyone, isn't there? That's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. They sail very fast. Well, we've sailed into the harbour, Tony. We are coming to the end of this voyage for this week.
What's that dish? What's that dish here that has octopus in it? It's very famous.
Polvo.
Because I heard Do you know that?
Hold on a minute. Are you just about to tell us a little story? Okay. No, because I want to. Can I share a little anecdote? I'm very proud of my family. As we were driving out of Continent.
Is that it?
No. No. We were driving out of Continent, and there was an open vehicle out of which came a helium balloon, and it was a number, like for birthdays, and it was a 2. And I said to my wife, "Quick, jump out and get it!" Because I was thinking, a little 2-year-old's having a birthday, and I'm about to run over, or it's going to go under the car and burst on the engine block or something like that. So she jumped out to get it and gave it back to the man. And the kid said, "What's just happened?" And I said, "Mummy just got out the car and picked up a man's number 2." And the whole family just riffed on that joke for a few hundred meters. It was, and I was really proud of them because they said, "Mummy touched a number 2." It was just fantastic. And I just feel like they're, chips off the old block, basically. Salada de polvo. Awful. I like it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is you won't have to worry about it for much longer, Crypto, because they're talking about banning it.
Really? Who is? No, hold on a minute. I'm still not finished because I want to go back to my woke days. It reminds me of a woke anecdote. Because I was going to say, at the risk of offending a few people here, it's rubbery. Right? It's rubbery, which reminds me of one of my wokest moments ever, Tony. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I was living in London. I was in my late teens, possibly about 20, listening to Capital Radio. Pat Sharp was on. And he said, I was in a Chinese restaurant the other day, and I said to the waiter, "This chicken's rubbery." And the waiter said, "Oh, thank you very much." So I wrote a letter in. I said, I'm of partially Asian origin, descent, ancestry myself. And I was very offended.
You complained. I
wrote in about how poor taste it was. And that is, this is a long time ago. That's probably 30, 40 years ago. And that's like, that's the sort of stuff that people, old farts like yourself, are getting upset about people doing now. I was doing that 40 years ago, Tony. And you might have been doing similar things as well, sticking it to the man, writing into the radio station.
One that offended me.
Casual racism.
I heard someone ask an Asian-looking woman, a woman of Asian appearance.
Yes.
Let's say.
Yes.
What she did for a living, and she said, "I'm a pirate."
Right.
And he said to her, "What? You sailed the seas, stealing gold and causing terror?" And she said, "No. I fry brains."
Oh gosh. Right. Well, if you want to write into this show, this is for the attention of Tony Bryant. And he will write back a similar letter to the one I got from the producer of the radio show.
I was very offended.
In retrospect, we realized that the comments expressed by our presenter were indeed in poor taste, and we do sincerely apologize and hope this will not affect the quality of your listening to our radio station. People used to bother to do that in the old days. Can you imagine that now? This was a letter, Tony, on Capital Radio paper.
It reminds me of I can't tell this joke. It's too much.
All right. So octopus, then. There's a lot of talk about octopus. The octopus is a massively intelligent animal.
Do you remember Points of View?
Yes, I do. Which presenter? Barry Took? Was it Barry Took?
But people used to write into Points of View.
Yeah, Anne Robinson. Yeah, there were several presenters. Yeah. Did you send one in for that?
Well, I wrote into. No, I can't tell it. It's too much.
All right. Okay.
I'm not going to tell it. I know you know it, right? Do you know it? I can't tell it. I can't tell it.
Brain bigger than a Trump brain. Yes.
No. But this is the thing. Everybody needs to be aware of this because apparently they're going to ban eating octopus.
Tony, you're telling me they're thinking of banning eating octopus in Portugal
because they're known to be very intelligent.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can make an octopus laugh.
Really? How do you make an octopus laugh, Tony? How do you make an octopus laugh, Tony?
Tentacles.
Munson and the Geeza. Munson and the Geeza. Reporting from the scene. Munson and the Geeza. News in every ride.